good for country, good for Grande? You all don't think it's time what good for country, good for Grande? Well, we are getting it done for Grande. Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, the Attorney General, and I must say, welcome to Sangre Grande, all the way from San Fernando, Mr. Faris Alwari, Mr. Terry Randan, Chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, Mr. Rajkumar Baghelu, okay, and of course, our Member of Parliament and a daughter of the sun, the soil, Glenda Jennings Smith. All my cabinet colleagues here, senators, and I saw we have representatives from the Sangre Grande Chamber as well. We have, my God, the entire East Coast is here tonight. And I say to the PNM family, I think tonight, the opposition leader probably figured out what was going to happen here. And that is why she decided not to come Sangre Grande on Saturday again. Tonight, I had no intentions of taking on the UNC because my presentation tonight was all about what we are doing for the people and how we are getting it done. However, I don't want to say a drunken lady, although they said she probably thought the bill Faris was piloting was already passed. A lady in yellow came to Sangre Grande a couple days ago. Had nothing to tell the people, nothing at all to tell the people about what she ever did for the Eastern Seaboard or what she planned to do, but felt that she had to drop 2 bombs in Sangre Grande. And the 2 bombs were on Senator Rohan Sinanan. I had to look at this lady in pity. I don't want to get angry with the lady because the lady could be my mom. I'm talking about the age, just the age. My mom don't drink. My mom don't drink, just the age. So I thought to myself, why get angry with somebody like that? But then I said, if you allow her to get away with something like that, then it creates that doubt in the mind of the population. So I decided tonight to address Kamala Prasad Bisesa, take her own senior counsel SC. That's why she's senior counsel by take. I decided tonight to correct the records because she told the Sangre Grande crowd that when Rohan come around, you must ask him certain questions. Well, I didn't wait to come around. I decided to come on a platform back in Sangre Grande and answer Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Because I have nothing to hide and I could explain every single thing that I have declared on my Integrity Commission form. Unlike a lot of the members of the last government, they don't know what is on their form because what they own is on other people's name. It is alleged that it's on other people's name. Everything Rohan Sinanan owns, it's declared on his integrity form. And you could go, just like she did, to the Legal Affairs Office and you could pull up everything. So she dropped this big bombshell a couple days ago about Rohan Sinanan thieving a bridge in Grande and putting it on his land. All you remember, all you must have heard about that. Oh, look the bridge right there. Look the bridge. I stole a bridge and put it on my land so the government will pay me for the bridge and pay me for diverting the river. This lady have to be mad. That bridge is on the government road. It is still on the government road and it is not in my land. So let me start with that. The second thing I want to start with is when we decided to do the bridge, and the technical people decided, but first before I go there, let me put it on the records that she was correct. I bought that land in 2008 2009. Long before I was a deputy leader of the PNM, long before the PNM was in government, at 2009, the UNC was planning how to thief out the treasury. So while they were planning how to thief out the treasury, I was in my personal business. So let me put that on the record. Then she said that I divert a river so that the government go pay me. I mean, I had to be the biggest fool in the world to divert a river into my land. People divert rivers away from the land, but it's so the lady doesn't. I mean, I am sorry for the senior councils in Trinidad and Tobago, you know, because when Ms. Bisessa could boast that I am senior council Kamala Prasad Bisessa, I started to say, better I look for junior council, you know. Serious. The lady just brought down the salary of senior council. She alleged that I moved this river into the land, and she wanted me to explain that. Well, and that was supposed to be a big mark. Ladies and gentlemen, I have nothing to hide. And let me just read something for you. In 2018, she busted a mark this week, 2019, and think is a mark, 2019, November. 27th of June, 2018. And this is a letter that I, Rohan Sinanan, wrote to the Integrity Commission. One of the bridge schedule, and it's addressed to the Register of the Integrity Commission. One of the bridge scheduled for reconstruction work in phase 2 of this project, located in the Konapo Southern Main Road, Kumoto Manzalina, the design consultant noted that the existing river channel was poorly aligned and resulted in flooding and erosion occurring on the northeastern side of the bridge. To alleviate the problem, the option of constructing a new bridge south of the existing one was selected. And it goes on to say, the option will solve the poor drainage issues required, and it will require some acquisition of private lands. The details of the lands to be acquired for this bridge are as followed. And then it earmarked some pieces of land all the way up, not my land alone, several pieces of land to be acquired to straighten the river to avoid the flooding in SANGRE Grande. Now this is June 2018, so she now come to bust the mark. In June 2018, I wrote the Integrity Commission, and the letter continues. As Minister of Works and Transport in the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and also having NIDCO, wholly owned state enterprise, placed under my ministerial responsibility, and also being aware that I am a person in public life for the purpose of the Integrity in Public Life Act, Chapter 2201, I am duty-bound to disclose my personal interest in these matters to the Integrity Commission. In other words, I wrote the Integrity Commission in 2018. Now, she now come to Bosamak in 2019, November. I would be indeed grateful for your urgent guidance before signing the attached license agreement for the purpose mentioned above. I will be particularly grateful if you can indicate to me whether the intended signing of the attached license agreement will be in any way conflict with my duty under the Integrity in Public Life Act or in any way constitute a breach of any of the provisions of the said act. I wrote the Integrity Commission. I got a response from the Integrity Commission dated July 4th, which they indicate they receive my letter and they will respond in time. Now, what that letter indicated, when you're building a bridge on the main road, you have to divert the traffic. So the license that they had to sign with me was for use of the land on the side, which I own. I told the administrator, go ahead, do it. If you want, you're just using the land. He said, no, we have to pay. I said, but I don't want no money. You're using the land. But the Integrity Commission, the lawyers advised that we have to do a lease. We have to rent the land from you. So I said, okay. That is what I wrote the Integrity Commission, indicating that I have to sign a lease with the government. The Ministry of Works, I'm a minister. I have the 3 lease here that they had to sign. You know what's the value of the lease? The value of the lease was $1. So she wanted to know how much money I got. Well, I told them $1. That's all I want. But what is significant is that the Ministry of Works, we get things done. While we wait for the Integrity Commission, the ministry went in, build the bridge, move out, give me back the piece of land, and I still ain't get my dollar yet. So tonight I asking Kamala, should I really go for that dollar? The answer is no. There's a piece of land that the state will acquire to straighten the river, to alleviate the flooding. And that is not only from Rohan, and that's for everybody along the riverbed. And that will be paid for by the Commissioner of Valuation under the Ministry of Finance. And that process have not completed or anything like that. And I want to tell Kamala Persad-Bissessar something tonight. Not all East Indian in politics are thieves. All right? We do have honest East Indian people who can act as ministers in this country. Most of them will be found in the PNM, unfortunately. On the other side, I want to see how much of them could stand up on a platform and say that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go to the next bombshell. And by the way, see that box in front of you there? That is what $1 million look like if you put it in a Carib case. That is $1 million. It fills a Carib case, $1 million. On that bridge, we saved $2 million. So on that bridge, what is $2 million there from? On that bridge alone, we saved $2 million. That amount of money if you pile it up in $100 bills. Right? And that $2 million, they're complaining about we paving road all over the place in Grande. That $2 million went to pave the road. That $2 million. Right? Let me talk to Ms. Bissessar again about the next bombshell. She spoke about the Curab interchange. Right? She spoke about the Curab interchange and how the minister built an interchange so that they could pay him how much million? Oh, she said 150 million. She didn't say that on that night, but on 3 occasions. One day she said the minister got 150 million for the land. The next day, the minister got 130 million. The next day, the minister got 125 million, and she have proof. Well, I tell Kamala Persad-Bissessar, if you have proof, bring it. If not, you are Kamalaya. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the truth about the Curab interchange? In 2013, under Kamalaya, because if you have proof that I get 150 million, bring it. If you can't bring it, then you lie. So, Faris, good. I'm a lawyer in the back there. In 2013, under Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the owners of Valsin Resort got notice that the state is going to compulsory acquire 36 properties in Curab. In 2013, the Kedona was one of them. Why? Because the UNC government wanted to build an interchange. So they served notices to everybody, including the Valsin Resorts, where I do have an interest. Several people own the property, and I am one of them. They decide that they're going ahead with this interchange. By 2015, they tendered it out. 2 ministers started to fight. They had a budget of 545 million or 541 million. Right? That was supposed to be for land and contract. They got a bid for 500 million. They are about to award. Until 2 ministers started to fight. Because 2 ministers had 2 horses. Both of them promised their horse, they're going to win, they get in it. That ended up in the court. one minister get fired because they say you mustn't screen on your cabinet colleagues. I mean, it have enough to go around. It have enough to go around. The project was stopped. They couldn't award because one contractor went to court. We came into power. What we did, on the guidance of the Prime Minister, because he was on, we have to get value for money. We went back to court matter finished. We decided we're going to retender the project, the same project. Same project. We went to cabinet. Cabinet gave us a budget. What that was about close to $300 million less than what they were going up for. We went out for tender, and we were able to award the project, a little more than what they were doing, because we added 2 roads. The one to take you up to UE, and one, I think, taking you back to Val Park. We had 2 roads to the project. Same project, on the same land that they say this minister want to build interchange on. They served the notice, you know. In 2013, we went back out for tender, and we were able to award that contract for almost $300 million less. Now, I want the population to understand what is $300 million. You see that? That is $2 million there. You see that little pile you see in there? That is $10 million. If you pack $100 bills, that's how it will be. How much all you? How much all you could have this amount of $100 bills? Any all you ever work for that amount of 100? Think about the 10 million. How much all you could have 10 million in $100 bill like that? Remember a fella, the live sport? Remember live sport? Remember a fella went away with $30 million and he said, 34 million. 34 million, and he said, I'm not paying back none because they were supposed to do certain things and they didn't do it. Well, he get 3.5 of that to do nothing. That 10 million there, he got 34 million, and that is only 10. So 3 of that. That money all the way so. In the Curep interchange, you know how much is $300 million? You see, when we talk these figures, it goes through one ear. But if you could see $300 million, you'll understand the level of thieving that went on in this country. Put along that there.
Grande, grande, what good for grande, good for country. Grande.
You know how much money is that? If you stack $100 bills, if you stack $100 bills, that is only 100 million. Multiply that by 3, and that is how much money Olia was losing if the UNC had done the interchange. 3 times that amount. I tried to get the amount of Carib case in Grande. It didn't have enough Carib case to put the amount of money they was thieving in the whole of Grande. 3 times that is what on one project while they was paying. Since this government came in, the projects and the price that we reduced the price on is close to $1.9 billion. You know how much $1.9 billion in $100 is? It's enough to fill half of this tent here. All you can imagine how much money they have in cash all around this country, Barry. All you can imagine that? If that is 2 million, that is 10, that is only 100 million, right? And on one project, the Curep interchange, you could have filled this stage with money. That is the level of thieving that went on in this country. And then Kamala Prasad want to come and accuse me of getting $1 for a piece of land in Grande. Tell Kamala Prasad, I say, go to hell. Kamala Prasad Bisesa want to ask me about land. Well, I answer my question. I declare to the Integrity Commission. I go through the process. I buy my land before I went in government. I want to ask Kamala Prasad Bisesa tonight. I remember when Kamala Prasad Bisesa became Prime Minister. I remember before that, Mr. Warner had said the house is not safe where she lives in. It's too small for the opposition leader, and he rented a house somewhere. Sorry, I have a picture to show that house tonight. When she won the election and she became Prime Minister, she went by Gopal and live. All you remember that? Because the house she was living in wasn't fit for a prime minister. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, you see that mansion there? That was developed between 2010 and 2015 while she was prime minister. I am simply asking Kamala, just how I explain myself where I get my land before I came in government. You explain yours now. You just explain. Look at that. It's the first country in the world, the opposition leader house bigger than the prime minister house. And that lady want to ask me about a piece of land I have in coal mine? That lady out of place. Anyhow, I think I waste enough time on that lady tonight. Look at that. Look at that. When I ever dream, when the prime minister dream a house to pack a helicopter and a Prado in the lawn and call that George. That's what was going on with all your money in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk about what I come here to talk about. That is just wasting my time. In 2015, I stood up with the Prime Minister right out in the junction behind the gas station, the bus terminus. And when we stood in the rain on that Thursday, the same Thursday before the general election, because Grande is where the action is, you know. You have to close it in Grande. If you don't come for Grande, then something wrong. You have to come here the Thursday to get the vibe, because look what happened here tonight. The Prime Minister promised this country, and he promised the people on the Eastern Seaboard, that if you put us in government, Eastern Seaboard will finally find its place in this country. Because the Eastern Seaboard is responsible for almost 50% of the land mass, but responsible for 5% of the commerce, 5% of the businesses, or 3% of the businesses registered in Trinidad. Lowest income and highest unemployment. In other words, this was probably the most depressed part of Trinidad and Tobago. And the Prime Minister promised that he will fix that for the people of Toco Sangre Grande, Komoto Manzalina, Mayaro, Matlot, Salibe, Rampanalgas, Danbury Hill, Valencia, all the way, because we all make up the Eastern Seaboard. And how we went about doing that. Understand something. If you want to develop a country, put in infrastructure, build roads. Now we had to get a bigger screen to show Munilal house. That screen too small. We understand that you have to put in infrastructure. And that is why we set about to build 2 highways coming to Sangre Grande. We promise you that. You go to Valencia now, you will see 8 contractors building a highway from Valencia going all the way to Toco. You go to Komoto and you will see a contractor and a highway building from Komoto all the way to Sangre Grande. And next year, we will have the upgrade of the Manzalina Road going all the way to Mayaro. So, we recognize if you put in infrastructure, you could develop the area. But we went beyond that. Anybody know about Singapore? What changed Singapore was a port. A port. We are the Eastern Seaboard. If you build a port in an area, remember years ago you had a story about the capital of Trinidad was in St. Joseph? But the port was in Port of Spain, and cities that's built around a port. So you can imagine if we put a port in Toco, what is going to happen to the Eastern Seaboard? We have the benefit to have 2 ports on the Eastern Seaboard. We have the Galeota port, and this government is now going into phase 2 of the Galeota port. So we have highways, and we have 2 ports. Could you imagine the opportunities now for the people of the Eastern Seaboard? Cities are built around a port. Prime Minister had the vision to say, we will put the infrastructure, We will put the port and we will develop the agro-industry on the eastern seaboard. And we didn't just talk. So tonight, I am reporting the highways started. The port, we are almost there to have a tender document drawn up to go out. We are working with the EMA right now. And once we get the approvals from the EMA, the designs have been completed. A lot of surveys have been done. And we are waiting now on the EMA to get the statutory approvals. Once that is in place, we go out for tender and the port will start. The Galeota port is now being evaluated for phase 2. This eastern seaboard is poised to take off. But more than that, what we decided to do is how do we bring these services? Because putting in 2 highways and 2 ports doesn't solve all our problems. So we decided to look at all the internal challenges that we have. We decided to look at all our bridges, how we could upgrade them. And as I speak now, we have about 8 bridges going on. She might come and ask me if I'll land by the 8 of them, you know. I'm waiting for she. We have upgrades of our roads. They were complaining that all we're building is highway and we are fixing the roads. Once we start to fix the road, they say it's election. So what do you want me to do? Fix it or don't fix it? Well, we promise you to fix it. And as long as I am Minister of Works and I get the permission from the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, I will fix all the roads in Sangre Grande. We went ahead to do the cleaning of all your water courses. So we actually dealing with the local infrastructure while we concentrate on your highways. We're not just building highways and leaving you like that. Recently, we turned this sort for a license office. Do you know if somebody from Matlot want to renew a driver's permit? It's to take 2 days because they'll come down to Sangre Grande. Some of them might spend the night in Sangre Grande. The next morning they get up, they go down to Arima or Port of Spain, and they reverse cycle the next day. How come a place like Sangre Grande, where you have about 30,000-40,000 people in Kumoto Manzalena, same amount in Toko, we have to go carry new Arima to get a simple driver's permit? That's ridiculous. A man with a truck in Matlot had to go Port of Spain to get a truck inspected. What kind of madness is that? We're not people too? What we decided to do is to build a license office where all the services will be achieved right here in Sangre Grande. We gave you, from the Ministry of Works, traffic wardens. 2009, when the PNM government conceptualized the traffic wardens, Sangre Grande was supposed to be one of the first areas with traffic wardens, because we know the traffic nightmare we have. You know that wicked UNC coming in 2010, 2015. Sangre Grande never get a traffic warden. Now we have traffic warden in Sangre Grande. PTSC. Very soon, PTSC getting new buses. Sangre Grande getting the fair share new buses for PTSC. Everything Trinidad, the rest of Trinidad have, what good for Trinidad, good for Grande. And what good for Grande, good for Trinidad. The Sangre Grande Hospital, best hospital in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't care what they say, best hospital. But it has come of age. And Sangre Grande, we have already turned this out for a brand new hospital in Sangre Grande. Nobody can laugh at we again. And that is why Bagilu said, Kumoto Manzanana gone PNM. We fed up by everything that we in Sangre Grande now earn our place. We have the largest squatting population, and I am happy to report to you that the Land Settlement Agency have started the regularization and the development of over 1,000 lots, and giving out your certificate of comfort and everything that is required so you could live in dignity. And today we walk in Babande And when we are finishing Barbande in a few months, I'm telling you, that squatting settlement that started off like that will be able to compare to any residential gated area in any part of Trinidad. This government is doing that for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I too want to listen to Faris and the Prime Minister. But I can go on here for the whole night with the amount of things that come into you in Sangre Grande from this government. But we have time for that. But what I want to ask the people of the Eastern Seaboard, Sangre Grande and Komoto Manzalina, for years we have never gotten the sort of respect that we're getting now from this government. Finally, the Eastern Seaboard, we're going somewhere. Our lives, all the lives of all the citizens here will improve. Better jobs, better quality of life. Let us vote for Sangre Grande on December 2nd. There's only one way we could vote for Sangre Grande, is if we vote for the People's National Movement. And tonight, I am urging every single resident of the Eastern Seaboard, let us give ourselves a chance this time. Let us put all our councillors into government. We have a Prime Minister who recognizes that we have been deprived for too long. He is working with us. He's giving me the support as the Minister of Works to put in the infrastructure. He has spoken to all the other ministers. That is why community development, everybody doing their part. Ministry of Sport, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Agriculture, everybody doing their part. But if we don't want to grab the opportunities presented to us, at the end of the day, when the entire Trinidad goes forward and we remain in the back, it's only us to blame. I spoke to the Minister of Agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture is now looking at land in the Valencia area for a packing house. More than 50% of the fruits and vegetables come from the Eastern Seaboard. But we have to take it down to Port of Spain to pack and then bring it back up. When we open the gateway to Tobago from Toco, and you have a packing house right here, all the farmers in the area could take advantage of that, and our produce could be exported to all the hotels in Tobago. This government thinking about you, this Prime Minister thinking about you, this cabinet thinking about you. It's time you start to think about yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, on December 2nd, let us vote for the People's National Movement. What good for Grande, good for Trinidad, and what good for Trinidad, bound to be good for Grande.